Today we're going to be doing an oil change on a 2011 Lexus ISF. Should be very simple. There's lots of videos online. You should be able to find a whole bunch. I thought I'd make one for my own channel just to kind of keep in line with some of the other videos I've been doing. So it's a real simple process. Takes about a half hour. Depends on how you like to do your work. I have a tendency to wipe things down when I'm underneath the car, take it apart. But if you're just going to go ahead and get in there, take out the filter, put in the oil, you can do it real quick. So simple parts you need some sort of an oil filter that fits your car, and you need 10 quarts, roughly 10 quarts of 5W30. I typically use Pennzoil. I try to use platinum or ultra platinum, and I do like the K&N oil filters. If I can't get a K&N, then I usually get a Lexus Toyota original, but you can get them on Amazon real cheap, about $5 for the filters. And the oil's been having deals all summer long. Mail-in rebates to Pennzoil, but everybody has a preference for their synthetics. You can get your mobile ones, you can do your Amazon basics, and whatever you want to try. But this is my preference, so we'll get started. Okay, everyone. So before we get started, let's just kind of go through everything you need. So I already talked about you need 10 quarts of oil, 5W30. I try to use the Pennzoil, and I also try to stick with full synthetic. It's everybody's choice. Oil is one of those things that everybody likes to talk about and say which is better than what, and that's fine. It's sort of like which beer is better, in my opinion. So I use Pennzoil. I try to use the Ultra, or at least the Platinum, full synthetic 5W30. That's what I've been putting in the car. That's what my dealers put in the car, since I bought it 2 years ago. I've never had a problem. I did try Amazon Basics on this last oil change, so I'm kind of interested to see what the oil looks like when it comes out. I'm sure it's going to look like 5,000 miles of dirty oil, but just wanted to say that's what I use. Also, K&N filter. Make sure you get the right one for this car. The one that is for this car, just so everybody knows, is a PS7018, and that is the performance version of the K&N. You can get it on Amazon for about $4 and change shipped if you're a Prime member. One of the other tools you need to have is sort of an oil filter wrench. It's a special one specifically for Toyota. You can see it's got these little teeth inside. It kind of grabs the housing, because this is just a cartridge filter. You can see it on the picture. And the outside, it gets reused over and over again to try to save metal. This is another one I got on Amazon. There's about 20 or 30 different types. Again, this is a Motive Tools. I like the powder coating on it. I've dropped it a bunch of times, hasn't chipped. Does real good. It's nice and strong. Again, you can get what you want to use. Gaskets. So this is the oil plug gasket from the pan. This is a Toyota. It's a genuine one. I usually get a package of 10. I get them on eBay. I can also get them on Amazon, but that is the part number, the 90430-12031. And I'll probably put a link in the comments below so everybody can try to find these things on Amazon. The only two things you really need is your standard 10mm socket and a 14mm socket. The 14 is going to be for the plug in the pan, and the 10 is to get access to the door to the oil filter. Besides that, I have a little pick to try to change the O-rings in the housing, the oil filter housing, and then a really, really big pan, because you are taking out almost 10 full quarts out of the car. So if you have one of the little black pans, the ones that are graduated, they only hold about 6.5. So it won't make it. So this one is typically like an antifreeze pan, but I've started using it for oil changes. So that's really what you need. I mean, you can have one of these automatic tools if you like them. I plan on using the pan. This is for the pan. This is for the 10mm bolts. But you can do it how you want to do it. So now that we've got all the tools, whatever you want to call them, off we go. So here we are into the car. Just trying to give you an idea of where everything is. So I try to use jack stands, or excuse me, ramps, when I do my oil change. On any other kind of service work, I use jack stands and a jack. So with an ISF, they're very, very low to the ground. These are, I forget the brand of these. They're not Gorilla. They're probably an AutoZone brand. I have to use, you can see over here, maybe you can't see. Here, let's see. You see I've got 2x4s over there. That's the only way I can get up on these jack stands. Otherwise, it just doesn't work in any way, shape, or form. So where you're trying to get, you got two places you have to get. To get to the oil filter, you have to get right here, this access door. It's got four 10mm bolts in the corners. All you're going to do is take the four 10 bolts, drop it, and the little door opens up and get access to the oil filter. Now the pan sits farther back. It's way back here, kind of hard to see. I'll go back there and I'll climb back there and show you where it is. The pan's plug is at the back end of the pan, so it's going to kind of fall that way. So what we'll do is we'll take our oil pan, hatch pan, kind of shove it under the car. So that gets you there. But let's go ahead. First things first, let's open the door. Make sure we got your tool going the right way. So here you go. There's 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll hit this back one first. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4, and you can see it all just falls apart. So I'll give you a view up inside here so you can see what we're working on. Okay, so coming from where we are at the front of the engine, you can see again there is the filter housing. So we're going to start to look back towards the back of the engine, give you an idea where we're going. Okay, so where you see that circle, that is the oil pan right there. That's the oil pan. Now come back here, and I'm doing a backward shimmy here so you can see there's the plug. That's the plug, and you can see it's facing backwards. So that's a 14mm. You know, just get a wrench on it, take it off. So what I typically like to do is we'll go ahead and drain the pan first, and then we'll go ahead and crack open the oil filter afterwards. So before I start opening up the pan and go after the filter, what I like to try to do is come up here to the fill and just kind of open it up, let some air get in the crankcase. It'll help drain everything a little bit. I mean, some people believe in that, some people don't. I've been doing it since I've been 10, helping my dad change oil. So, on to the bottom. Okay guys, so here we are back under the car. We're going to take our 14mm and just put it on the plug. I already tried to loosen it up a little bit before. Let me get the pan out of there. Alright, tried to loosen it up before, so it's probably already broken. Yeah, it's loose. So all you gotta do is just make sure you turn it the correct direction to get it off. Okay, you reach up on here, unscrew it, and there it goes. Okay, so not too bad looking. Again, this was the Amazon Basics Full Synthetic 5W30. It's a little darker than I would be happy with, I guess. But I'll be doing Pennzoil from now on. So what we'll do is, I see that the plug gasket is not on here. I don't know if you can see that little blue gasket. So it must either be stuck on the pan. I could feel it. It's up on the pan. We'll have to make sure that comes off. That's something very important. You do not want to double up the gaskets on the pan. You will squirt your oil everywhere. So we'll let this finish draining out, and we'll get started on the filter. So while the oil's draining out, what you can do is you can take the plug, take a clean rag, and just really wipe it down, get all the oil off of it. Make sure you got it really clean. Look for any kind of contaminants on it, anything that's on there. Sometimes these plugs are magnetic based. You could find little particles on there. I don't know if this one is. It might be, but I've never seen anything in all the times I've changed the oil. So that's a good thing, I think. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take one of these gaskets out and place it on the plug. So I dug one out of the bag, and just to kind of show you, the gaskets are basically the same on both sides. They both have a blue side to them, so there's no right or wrong way that I know of. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, guys, just go ahead and put it in the comments below saying you have no idea what you're doing, and I'll start doing it the right way. But as far as I know, I've always put these on any old way. You just go ahead and slide it on, and that's pretty much it. That is ready to go back on the car, and we're just waiting now for the rest of the oil to drain out. You can see it's starting to drip. So another minute or two, we'll go ahead and close this up. It's pretty much slowed to a drip. What we're going to do is we're going to wipe here, and I'm going to try to feel if that gasket, it feels like it's on there. I may have to go back there and peel it off because getting my finger on it's not doing anything. All right. So we're going to have to go up there with a pick and maybe a scraper. I'm not sure why it's so stuck on. Never had it stick so hard before, so we'll get on there and See if we can peel it off somehow. Yeah, its gasket's on there. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of the, let me get a pick here. You can see some of it peeling up right here. It's blue. You can see the blue on it. So, I don't know why it's stuck on there. It usually doesn't. But in this case, it did. So, if the pick isn't going to get it off, probably what we're going to do is we're going to have to take a scraper and scrape it off. Maybe even a razor blade, possibly. Like I said, I'm not really sure why it's so stuck. Let's see if we can wipe it off real quick. And you can pretty much see all the blue. Right here, I can feel it. It's definitely like got a felt kind of feel to it. Why it's jammed on there, I'll never know. But yeah, got to make sure you get that off completely and totally. That will cause a oil leak while you're driving. So we're going to have to scrape it off. We'll go ahead and get some more. Okay guys, after a good 5 or 10 minutes of scraping with a razor blade and a gasket scraper, I got it. So it's pretty good. I mean, there's still some stuff on there. You know, I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit more before I put the plug on. But yeah, I'm not sure why this gasket stuck so much. It may have been on there from the previous one, maybe, but I usually check them and they really didn't look like anything. So it looks pretty good. I think what we're going to do is going to go ahead and put the plug in. I've already got the gasket on the plug, which I might be regretting this next time I do this. But all it is you just basically slide it in, thread it on, and you can see I've got the gasket on there. A little tinge of blue and the white. That's all it is. Thread it on. And you want to torque it to spec, which we'll talk a little bit about where I get my specs from. But let's just get it so it stops leaking, and then we'll torque it up. Okay guys, let's talk next about instructions and torque specs. So I've used two different types of instruction manuals that are online. One is ChiltonDIY.com. Typical yearly fee is like $22. It gives you access whenever you want to. So if you like to use a tablet, you can come out in your garage with a tablet or a computer and log in. I know a lot of guys online like to use emanuals.com. I've used emanuals.com. I downloaded one for my F. The one that I needed was a 2011. They sent me a 2012. When I asked about it, they basically said that it's the same thing, so I kind of took it. It's a little, it's fine. It works. It's a PDF. It does give me all the information. It's kind of jumbled. It's kind of all over the place. Now with the Chilton DIY, you're logging into an online manual, and what you can do is you can actually save each section you want as a PDF. So you're getting the whole manual, but it's all online. But you can save each section that you like to use or need to use as a PDF and use it whenever you want. So to give you an idea, these are Chilton DIY manuals. This one is basically a components list. That's the header of the section for oil and filter changing. And then this particular one is replacement of oil and filter. And you can see at the top here, it actually says engine mechanical, oil and filter, replacement. So this kind of just goes through step by step, like drain the oil, and it gives you the torque specs for the plug. And there's the 4 10mm bolts. Or if you want, you can actually come over here. This is, again, you can see here's the different torque specs. The one we always want to look at is the last one, which is in foot-pounds. So for example, here's the drain plug gasket. We want 30 foot-pounds. And that's the same as over here on this other information. There it is, 30 foot-pounds. So you guys can use what you like. I've been very happy with Chilton. I typically buy them once a year, and I download what I need. Once I have all the ones, I've been downloading a lot of them and saving them. The e-manual is fine. It has everything. It's just very, very hard to find things, in my opinion. And maybe it's just for this car. Maybe for other cars, it's really, really put together. I've seen a lot of guys on YouTube use the e-manuals and recommend them, and that's why I bought them. And they were okay. It's just I really do like Chilton better. So now that we know it's 30 foot-pounds, both there and there, we'll go ahead under the car and we'll tighten the plug up. Okay, we're back under the car, and I've got my torque wrench set to 30 foot-pounds. We're going to go ahead and put it on and start tightening it up. And 30 seems like a lot to me, but hey, that is the spec. And I'm just going to take my time That just seems very, very tight. And a lot of times I usually do it by feel. I'm probably going to stop right about here because this just seems fine. I know 30 is what it's spec'd for, but I'll be honest with you guys. There it is. Right about where I was going to stop. Look at that. So, torqued up 30 foot-pounds. Wipe up whatever you got left. You know, clean up the pan, anything that might have missed back there. All right, we're on to the filter. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and try to take the filter off. I've got you off to the side, and if there's not enough light, I'm sorry. The light just seems to be blinding. So you got to make sure you have it on off, obviously. You're going to fit, as we saw before, the filter wrench on the housing. Just fit it onto your hear slide, you heard it, and then just give it a pull until it breaks. Now, you got to make sure your pan is directly under this. It's going to start leaking from here, if you can see it. Hopefully you can. And it comes off pretty easy. It's really not too. Now you can see maybe there's a notch in here that you want to line the notches up. There's one of the notches that fall in the 3. And as you wrap around, let me go ahead and come all the way around. As you wrap around to the other side, you'll see there's another main notch right here. So that's how the wrench works. You're trying to get the notches in. Once you get it enough that it's hand loosened, you just kind of take your time, and it does kind of come out. There it is. It just loosened up. That's the O-ring that loosened up, and it's coming off here. There's your oil. So you just want to kind of let it start to drain. Now on the ISF, they do not have a drain plug in the back of the housing. On some of the other Toyotas that have the same similar filter cartridge, they actually have a plug on the back you can unscrew and put a little like an insert plug that drains out the housing. This one doesn't. I'm sure it's for reasons, maybe it wasn't designed at the time when the car was made, don't know. My wife's 2015 Sienna has the same type of housing. I think it's actually the same filter, but it has a little plug on the back of the housing. You can unscrew it and pop in this little drain plug that opens up a valve and lets the oil come out, and when you open it up, it doesn't all come out. So basically what I do with this is I just let it slowly drain out, and just letting it all go. You can see it. Hopefully you can see it coming out. So I turned on the light. Hopefully that helps a little bit. So you can see it draining out now. You can bring a little bit more, maybe just keep loosening it by hand. You see, the more you loosen it, the more you're going to get out. It's starting to lighten up. There we go. All right, it's out. So as you pull it, a lot of oil is going to come out. There you go. You want to make sure you keep it over the pan and drain it directly in, so it's not completely. Now the cartridge may slide out. You just have to be careful with it. You can see there's your filter inside the housing, and that's your O-ring right there. I'm just trying to get all the oil out of it. I'm going to try to pull the cartridge out. There it goes. All right. All right, so what we'll do is we'll get you in the light so you can kind of take a see what everything looks like, and we'll go from here. So just so you can see up inside, this is what it looks like in the block. This is where the filter goes in there, and it's just going to dribble out for right now. So this is the other half outside the car. You can see the filters in here, and basically it just slides over a center like a center point. I'll pull it out and see. Come on, you. There it is. So that's basically what you got on the inside. It just slides over the middle, and this is the filter. Again, this is a K&N, made in the USA, I believe. And it looks pretty good. Don't see any kind of fragments in there. It looks relatively clean. Definitely a different color. I'll show you what the new one looks like so you can kind of compare the two look like. So here's the filter. Here's the plug I was talking about. This actually, on some of the Toyotas, on the back end of the filter, there's a plug. You can see here there's no way to open this one, but on some of the Toyotas, there's a filter on the back of this. And you basically unscrew it, and you insert this, and it lets the oil come out. You can put a hose on the end of this and let it drain. So the K&N kit gives you this. And you can see the difference in color between the new and the old. There's the new one, there's the old one. Obviously it's saturated with oil and maybe contaminants, we'll see, just general yuck. But big difference between the two. And also in the kit, just so you know, you get all the O-rings you need. So the big O-ring is for this cartridge. The little O-ring is actually for where you take the plug off and use this. So this application, I think, fits a 2015 Toyota Sienna, which is a V6, and that's where I would use that little plug. So we'll go ahead and switch out the cartridges and get it all ready. Taking the new O-ring out, and you can see we still have the casing here. You can see there's one place that this O-ring belongs. Sometimes I've seen people put it in this space, and if you do, you're going to have a big problem. You can still see a lot of the threads are here. So what you do is you just take a little pick, you get up underneath the O-ring, and if I can get up underneath the O-ring, there we go. And you're just going to, if I can get up underneath the O-ring, you keep trying, and you're just going to take it off, and just, that's now garbage. What you want to do is take a little bit of a clean rag and just double check the slot is clean. Okay, so it's nice and clean. And then the new O-ring, what you want to do is before you just put it on, you want to take a little bit of oil, got some oil on my fingers, and just get it wet. Just kind of make sure there's no contaminants on it, make sure it's clean and ready to go, but a little bit of oil on it will help it slide on and get it ready when you put it in. As you slide it in, it won't come apart. And it can bind up, so all you're going to do is you're just going to fit it on and get it in the correct slot like we're talking about. So that is the wrong slot. Oh, that is the right slot actually. Here it is, that is the right slot. You can see, go all the way around, double check it. You can see it's not in this slot, it's in the lower one. And actually, again, in the instructions I was telling you about, the instructions tell you to make sure you put it in the right location. So I guess they've had problems in the past where people just slam them on and it's not the right place. So now that we've got this put together, we take the filter. Now it doesn't matter which end you put in. The filter doesn't matter. There's writing on the one end, there's nothing on the other. I usually just put it so the writing is out. And all it is it slides. You can see it slides right in there. And it just bottoms out. And it's actually got a little spring on it. You can see it kind of springs to it. And that's it. You're in. You're set to go. This filter is ready to be put back in. So we'll go ahead. We'll get the filter in and button this job up. Okay, just checking the torque spec. As you can see, it's 18 foot-pounds on the cap. So we'll go ahead and torque it up. Okay, so I've adjusted the lights so you guys can actually see what's going on. All right, so we now got the cartridge in, the filter cartridge into the housing. Basically what we're going to do, I'm going to push the pan out of the way because I really don't want to drop this in there, and really nothing's coming out. Take a little bit of rag, just wipe up. We know that the O-ring came out, so you don't have to worry about the O-ring being in there. And that's something to look at. If you take the cartridge out and the O-ring isn't here, it's stuck inside. Make sure you don't double O-ring. Same kind of thing with the plug. So just fit it in gently, hand thread it till it catches. As you start to spin it in, it'll be nice and easy. Once the O-ring grabs, you'll feel it get a little tighter. There it is. It just started to get tight. And you can grab by the two flanges here, this is one of them, and just kind of spin it until it bottoms out, or at least gets tight that you can't do it anymore. All right. So, still going. All right, that's about it. So now, I've taken my my cap and I've set it to 18 foot-pounds. There it is, it's on. And right out of the chute, 18 foot-pounds. You can hear it clicking. So we are in and tight and done. Now what we're going to do is going to take our door with our 4 screws and put it back together. Okay, now that we got the filter in, we're going to put the door back on, and that buttons us up down here. So, door. Basically, it goes, if you look at it, the door has 2 sides. It's got one sort of a lip that pushes down and the back side here that's just straight back. I've always thought, logically, you want an angle to push the air down. And it also is good to see which way it came off. That also helps too. But yeah, it faces the air, the side that has points down is the way you want to get it on. Just go ahead and start the 10mm bolts in the 4 corners. Just want to get the two front ones started, and then we'll sock them up. All right, one more. And we'll tighten them down. You don't want to make them too tight, guys, because this is all just plastic. All right, so that's it. Door's in, it's secure, and we're ready to go ahead and refill it. Okay, looking back in the specifications, we are going to be using 5W30, and it says 9.3 liters, which is 9.8 US quarts. So we're going to fill back in 9.8 quarts for adding the engine oil. Okay, so now we know it's 9.8 quarts. We got our funnel in. Take our oil, we open it up, and we start dumping. We'll speed up this so you don't have to be bored out of your mind watching oil go into an engine. I'm sure you all know what that looks like. Okay, so the 9.8 quarts are in. We go ahead and take our funnel out. Put your cap on. Make sure you thread it right, obviously. There you go. Just enough. Okay, so now you've got your oil in, everything's ready to go. One thing that I kind of backed up on, we put the cover on down below on the oil filter. What I suggest is you keep the cover off when you start the car the first time. Double check, you make sure you have no leaks. So what we're going to do is the cover's already off. I've taken it off while the oil was going in. We're going to go ahead and start the car up and check for leaks. I don't see anything around the housing. See nothing in the pan coming out. There's no drips on the ground. So everything looks pretty good. We're all set. We can now button this up again, this up and down. So remember, when you do this, leave this open until you start it up and check for leaks. But so far, nothing. Not a drop. Nice and dry. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so the last thing to do is we're going to reset the oil reminder light. If you remember, the oil reminder was up here in the corner, and there was a red triangle with an exclamation point in that corner. So to do it, it's real easy. You say I have the car off. What you want to do is you're going to start the car without starting the engine, which means your foot is off the brake. So if you know in the corner here, there's a trip reset button. What you're going to do is you're going to hold the trip reset button down. So I'm pressing it down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start the car without touching the brakes. So you're just going to start the electronics in the car. So here we go. Start it up. Keep holding it. You'll see that that came first, and do it one more. And you hold on to everything. So maintenance reminders on. You see there's blinking dots there, and they're going to be like a countdown. And now it says complete. And release the button, and that resets the reminder. So all done. So that's it. We're all finished. You've completed the oil change. You've reset your reminder. If you do reminders on your maintenance reminders like I do, I have a tendency to do all my maintenance reminders. So I go into my vehicle, my maintenance. Remember, you can change your oil and filter lights, just going in and changing those by resetting them, and you're all done. You've completed an oil change. So I hope this video helped everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments below. If you'd like to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. I plan on uploading a whole bunch of videos as I work on the car. Have a great weekend, guys.